When you see a Honda or a Toyota on the highway, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Is it, that guy's poor, that'll never last? Most of us, when we see a Toyota or a Honda on the road, you're probably thinking, wow, that guy made a great decision. A lot of this is very true with our lower receivers. As we said in the last video, there's only a handful of manufacturers out there that even make lower receivers. A lot of that comes down to the finishes, a little bit of quality control, things like that. In the manufacturing process, there's all sorts of opportunities for there to be little dings and dents along the way. And the premium ones that you're buying for $190, those are absolutely flawless. The ones that are a little bit less expensive, typically that's because it may have a ding or a dent or some minor imperfection in the finish. At the end of the day, they're all 70-75 aluminum, which means they're probably going to work and hold up to whatever you can throw at them. There is a wide variety of options here. You can get lowers on the market right now for as little as $35 and all the way up to $200. But realistically, what is the difference? Now, the type of material is the number one difference. And every time I show off a polymer, or in this case, a carbon fiber polymer lower, I have a lot of people jump in the comments and say, that's trash, it's never going to last. Sometimes when you show something like this from Anderson Manufacturing, you're gonna get a lot of people saying, oh, that's a terrible choice, that's cheap junk, it'll never last. Now, when you're looking at that Toyota, are you saying that that is cheap junk? Because when you Google most reliable car, Honda, Toyota are always at the tops of the list. When you Google the least reliable car, you're gonna find VW, you're gonna find Jeep, you're gonna find Chrysler and Dodge. Now, does that mean that Chrysler and Jeep and Dodge don't make really cool vehicles? They do. The Hondas and the Toyotas aren't the most beautiful cars on the road, but when you Google it, they are the most reliable car on the road. When we are building a firearm, most of us have an intended purpose for that firearm. Sometimes it could be hunting, it could be self-defense, or it could just be plinking at the range. And that is why there's lots of different options for you in the lower receiver world. As I said in our last video, if you're just building one or you just own one or you're looking at your second, you're probably gonna wanna make a few different decisions than if you're someone who has a YouTube channel and you're building a new gun every single month. I'm at the spot where I have quite a few that are in the 100% reliable category, and I'm looking for some different things, which is where the carbon fiber stuff comes into play. We're also experimenting with Cerakote and all sorts of ambi controls, things like that, that I wouldn't put on my end of the world apocalypse go to war gun. With that intended purpose in mind, the idea of having to use your firearm in a self-defense situation means that it must be 100% reliable and able to handle any job that it's called upon. Having to actually use your gun is a very low probability, but what's not a low probability is the likelihood that you're gonna have to deal with some ID theft. In fact, 1/3 of you watching this video will have to deal with ID theft at some point. A couple of months ago, I went to battle with the spam callers. The main problem with identity theft and spam calls is data brokers. I was shocked to see on that first Aura report that there were 15 plus data brokers actively selling my information. That was over a month ago. I've been trying this service out. I'm 100% confident recommending it to you. There is a 14-day free trial. If you go to aura.com/eaglerun23, just sign up for the trial. You'll absolutely love it. There's a lot of things in here, a VPN, there's an antivirus for your computer, the ID blocking, and the data broker removal. Those are huge. Password service is great. It stores your password. I know a lot of us are using Chrome to store our passwords. Google is probably one of the worst data brokers out there. We're just continually giving data to Google. I don't want them to have my passwords either. Big thank you to Aura for number one, sponsoring a gun channel, and two, for protecting our data and giving my viewers a 14-day free trial. Aura.com/eaglerun23, get signed up. There was recently a podcast from the CEO of Palmetto State Armory. And in that podcast, there's a lot of good information in there. But one of the things that really stood out to me was when he was talking about some of the different brands and how he now knows, because he's behind the curtain, that you are literally just paying for that brand name. This shouldn't be shocking to us. We see this in literally every industry. There are items where you can tell you're just paying for that brand name. Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes that's what we want, and that's totally fine. If you want the Wilson Combat Lower with the 15 Wilson Combat logos all over the gun, 100% go for it. I'm fine with it. They make great guns. If you want the LWRC, the BCM, the Geisley, if you want one of those, that's great. I recommend you have one of those. Again, if you can only have one, go that direction. But for most of us, we don't just have one AR-15, and we're looking to experiment with a couple of other things. Something like a really cool billet receiver. This one is from Anderson Manufacturing. I have two of these. The other one is at Cerakote right now. It's going to be a 338 Spectre. This one is going to be my daughter, so we're waiting on a few more components for hers to come in. I can't tell you about the Cerakote on this one, but it's going to be crazy. We're going to be talking about some other components, accessories, things like mounts and slings and quick disconnects. We're also going to be talking about optics, stocks, hand guards, triggers. We're going to be talking about all those things in this series as we break down where the value piece is. And that's really where I fall into this is I am looking for value. Yes, I want quality, but there is an intersection of value and quality, and that's where I want to hang out. I don't need to be on the edges where I've got the absolute latest finicky thing. I'm not looking to be on the fringes where it's the latest absolute cutting edge technology. We're not driving a Ferrari or anything here. We're looking for the cross section of value and quality. You also have the extreme other budget end where you've got $15 handguards and things like that. Now, realistically, I don't know what's wrong with that handguard. It's probably going to be fine, but you must question yourself if you're purchasing a $15 handguard. I'm enjoying this series. Let me know what you'd like to see next. We're going to be talking optics and triggers here very soon. Thanks for staying to the end of this video. If you're at the end of the video, I know you're one of the OGs. Thank you very much. I need to tell you about a big prize that's happening this summer. The clues have already begun. If you'll notice behind me, we often have different things in the background. Over the next 3 to 4 months of videos, I need you to pay very special attention to what's happening in the backgrounds on the videos. There's going to be things changing. There's going to be clues that are left, and that clue is going to lead you to a phrase. If you are able to find out what the phrase is and crack the code, then you will win a prize. I was thinking this was going to be a $1,000 prize range, but listen, we're going to double that. We're going to be in the $2,000 prize range. Now, just to remind you, we are not guessing what the item is. You can't look back here and say, oh, there's a Gideon optic. He must be giving away a Gideon optic. That's not how this works. You're going to have to figure out some things in the background, break the code, give me the phrase. You'll send it to eaglerun23@protonmail.com. I will reveal some clues as we go along here, but just pay close attention to the background. YouTube thinks that you will like this video right here.